Okay, let's get started. A couple of administrative items. First of all, most of you have recalled the problem set 7 is due today, so please make sure you get that turned in before you leave. There's a law of conservation of problem sets. However, we didn't quite get our act together, so we don't have the problem set ready for you right now. We'll post it on DSpace later today and bring some paper copies on Thursday. Do I hear sounds of great disappointment? Is that... Okay, no, sorry. We'll have it up on DSpace later today. All right. Reading. We're going to talk today about credit markets and time. So this is we have a little bit of finance we're going to cover today. That's going to be, it's an interesting topic in its own right and an important one. We're going to be pursuing this so we can tackle a little bit later the topic of extraction of natural resources over time and the problem that a firm solves when it tackles that problem. Okay. Reading here, there's the reading in the two textbooks is not great on this topic, so you may rely more on the lecture notes than usual. However, there's a part of chapter 17 in Nicholson is relevant, and part of chapter 15 in Perloff is relevant as well. There's also some discussion in Perloff's text later on specifically about the extraction of natural resources, which is going to be not quite, it's going to tackle the problem not quite the way we're going to do it, so don't rely on that too heavily, but that's a supplement for what the material we'll cover in course, in class. Okay, questions about administrative stuff? Okay, let's go ahead and get started then. So I have here, I think this is a great quote. This is also an interesting guy. This is Sheikh Ahmed Yamani, who was the oil minister of Saudi Arabia for a long time, I think from 1968 to, he was there for like 25 years. He was the chief, I forgot the title. He was the person in charge of running OPEC during its glory years in the 70s and was responsible for the huge increase in oil prices during the oil embargo in the 74 and so on. He's back in the news. He's still alive. He's back in the news a little bit this week because of another character. This character's nickname is Arnaud de Guerre, is Carlos the Jackal. Does anyone know what knows that news item this week? Yes, so Carlos the Jackal, I read in the newspaper that Carlos the Jackal is on trial. So he's a well-known, he's one of the original 20th century international terrorists. Carlos the Jackal is on trial in Paris this week. His trial started on Monday for some bombings that he conducted in France during the 80s. That was sort of not Carlos the Jackal's big headline. His big headline came in 1975 when he attacked, I forgot which embassy he attacked. Anyway, he took like 60 OPEC people hostage and wound up flying Ahmed Yamani and a bunch of other people around the world in a very extended hostage-taking spree. Carlos the Jackal was supposedly given instructions to kill Sheikh Yamani, but neglected to do so. It's rumored because he got an enormous payoff from the Saudis, which allowed him to escape the long arm of justice for another few decades. In any case, okay, so here's the quote. That's the colorful background. This is a quote from Sheikh Yamani in 2001. He says, "The Stone Age came to an end not because we had a lack of stones, and the Oil Age will come to an end not because we have a lack of oil." So I'm interpreting this as a sort of endorsement of the view that we were taking last lecture, that if we aggregate up all the sort of world supply of oil, we wind up with an aggregate supply curve that, I'm not sure exactly what the shape is, but we've got a supply curve that might look something like this. Eventually it goes up. It might keep on going up. But that at some price, so we've got prices here and quantities of energy here. So this energy, so this is oil. At some price, we'll reach a level where there's some other technology where the marginal cost doesn't increase so quickly. So I suggested solar as a possibility before. There are other possibilities too. If we sort of figured out a way to manage nuclear fusion, that may be a nice example. For many years, people thought that nuclear fission would be a sort of technology that might do something like this. Eventually, we'll get to the point where the remaining oil is more expensive to extract than it is to use this other technology. By the way, this idea that there's a technology which will prevent us from using natural resources, this is sometimes called a backstop technology in the resources literature in particular. Okay, so anyway, so there's a quote to go along with that picture. So what I'd like to do today is to return to the topic of credit markets. We started last time. Yes, Chris.
Related to this, I just read an op-ed by Paul Krugman in the New York Times. He went over the solar industry right now and said that if we internalize the health cost of coal, then solar would be so much more viable right now. The only reason we're storing oil is because of private business.
Yeah, so that's the topic we'll return to before the end of the semester is the topic of externalities. And so the argument Chris is alluding to is one that says, okay, here's maybe the price of solar and the apparent price of oil. It could be another price of coal, but we haven't considered the externalities associated with the production of greenhouse gases or other pollution associated with those things. So maybe the price that we observe here on this axis isn't the right social price in some sense. So that's a topic we'll return to in a couple of weeks. Okay, so I want to return now to the topic of credit markets, and this is a slide we actually saw last time. I wanted to just put it up here again to sort of get you guys back in the mood to discuss credit markets. So the idea is we want to think about credit markets as a kind of technology, kind of intertemporal technology that allows you to take some quantity of a resource or a good at time t, so that's BT in this case, is the amount of the resource you want to set aside, and you put it into a credit market, might lend it to somebody else in effect, and you get out a quantity later on with the same, of money or whatever, so at a future date t+1, and the technology depends on a parameter RT, which we'll think of as the interest rate. Okay, so that's the idea. So you can think of the credit markets as being closely related to a simple linear technology. You put a certain amount of stuff in, you get out proportionally more, and that proportion depends on what prevailing interest rates are. Okay. I also talked about bonds, and again, I auctioned off a couple of bonds last time. I'm going to return to that in a little bit. We want to think about, so the bonds can have different maturities, and so it's useful sometimes to talk about the yield of a bond, which is its annualized interest rate. So let me go ahead and tell you about these things quickly. So these are the two risk-free bonds that I auctioned off on Tuesday. So they had two different maturities. One of those maturities was a maturity of 1 week. So you can see 7 days divided by 365 is 1 week. This isn't a leap year. Eric proposed to write me a check today for $99.56. Bring your checkbook. You don't have to do it now. We'll do it after class. Thanks. Okay, so he proposed to pay $99.56. That may not seem like a lot less than $100. It's not, there's a profit of 44 cents there. But if you turn that into sort of annualized interest rate or the yield, it's an extremely good investment. So look at this. When Eric comes back a week from today and asks for his $100, there's going to be an implied interest rate of 23%, which is extremely high in today's climate, especially. Okay, so a very high yield there. Chris, bring your checkbook. Cash, even better. Okay. Chris got a longer maturity bond, so he has a 1 month bond, so 1/12 of a year is the maturity here, and he proposed to pay $99.50 for that bond. Also a good deal, not as good as Eric's though. This is basically a 6% interest rate, which is not bad, but not. I mean, I think maybe Eric. Why do you think Eric's yield is so much higher than yours, Chris? Oh, that's right. Actually, I did it backwards, didn't I? That might be why. Well, I'm not sure. Anyway, there's a big difference in yields here, which calls for some explanation. Actually, maybe we should explore that a little bit more. Maybe it would be worthwhile doing that. I think I will auction off a few more bonds. So I'm going to try to conduct the auction so it goes a little more quickly than we did last time. But I have, in addition to this 1 week bond that I sold to Eric and this 1 month bond that I sold to Chris, I have a bond here, which is payable on March 8th of 2012. So this is a 3-month, has a maturity of 3 months. Does everyone remember the routine? Okay, so the idea is we're going to auction this thing off. The auction form I used last time was a familiar sort of form. I said, who wants to pay 90? Okay, you want to pay more? You want to pay more? That form of auction, by the way, this is another bit of microeconomics. It's called an English outcry auction. That's what the form is called, because the English used it for auctioning wheat stocks in particular, or what they would call corn stocks, in the organized trading floors they had organized in the 17th and 18th centuries. So that's one form of auction. There's another form I'm going to use now because I think it might go a little bit faster. This is called a Dutch auction. Does anyone know how a Dutch auction works? It stems from the same area. Both the English and the Dutch had these sort of maritime trading empires and so on. They were engaged in auctioning off goods. The Dutch used a different form. What they did was they actually used sort of like a clock, which I'm not going to use today. And they started off the clock, so it was pointed at a number, which they thought was a number higher than the auction was likely to, the price that the auction was likely to arrive at. And the clock just moved at regular intervals down. Everyone was quiet until it got to a point where somebody said, I'll pay that. Okay, so it went from like, 100, 99, 98, 97, 96, 95, like that. And somebody said, I bid. So that was the form of the Dutch auction. So I would like to try a Dutch auction today to auction off this 3-month instrument. So this is a bond, which is, again, exactly like the other bonds. It's a bearer bond. If you buy it, you can sell it to somebody else or give it to a Christmas present. There's lots of things you can do with this valuable this thing. As before, it has what's called a par value of $100. The value, the value that you get paid here is $100. The par value is $100. All right, so any questions about the nature of this financial instrument? All right, I'd like to go ahead and start the bidding. I'm going to start at $100 and initially move down in 1 cent increments. I may go a little bit faster if there's not like really excited bidding because I want this to go faster, not slower. All right, so are we ready? So the idea is this: when you get to a price where you think you want to pay to get this bond, which is worth $100 in 3 months, just raise your hand and maybe yell if I don't seem to be paying proper attention. Okay, clear? Any questions before we begin? Okay, $100, $99.99, $99.98, $99.95, $99.90, $99.80, $99.70, $99.60, $99.59, $99.58, $99.57. 99.56. Don't fidget now. 99.55. 99.54. 99.53. 52. 51. 50. 49. 48. 47. 46. 45. 44. 43. 42. 41. 40. 39. 38. 37. 36. 35. 34. 33. 32. 31. 30. 99. 29. 28. 27. 26. 25. 24. 23. 22. 21. 20. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, $99.01, 99. This isn't going faster so far. Okay, so let me. So I'm going to go in 5 cent increments now. Okay, so $99, 98, 95, 98, 90, 98, 85, 98, 80, 98, 75. 98, 70, 65, 60, 55, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 98.05. Do I hear 98? No? Okay, 98. Okay, all right, so $98. So, and I'm sorry, what's your name? Mark. Okay, was that a K or a C? Okay, so Mark paid a $98 for a 3-month instrument. Looks like his yield was 8%. Okay. All right, very good. So let me just jot that down. And Mark, if you can pay that today, that'd be great. Otherwise, Thursday's fine. Okay, so my theory with the Dutch auction going faster for that one at least was not correct. Let me return to. I have another one I want to try to sell here. I'm going to revert to the English outcry auction for this one. So this is an instrument with a 1-year maturity. So it's payable 1 year from today, November 8th, 2012. Otherwise identical. Bearer bond, par value $100, and so on. So let me start the bidding. I presume nobody wants to pay more than 98. I'm going to go up. So let me start the bidding here at $80. So the English outcry this time. So raise your hand if you want to pay $80. Very good. 80. I hear 85. Do I hear 85? Do I hear 87? 87. Do I hear 88? Do I hear 89? Oh, sorry, do I hear 80? You did 87. 87.50. Do I hear 87.25? 87.12. Okay, going once, going twice. Sold for $87 to Brian. Okay, that's with an I. Now Brian, I think, did a good job here. Look at that yield at 14%. Okay, so just, I guess, class will be over, Brian, 1 year from now. You can send me an email or drop by class next year if you'd like. I'll be teaching 100 again next fall, I think. But I'm easy to find. All right, let's see. Okay, so actually, let me pause for a moment. We do have this feature of the data here that the yield on the 1-year bond is much higher than it is for the 3-month or the 1-month bonds. Any thoughts about why you're collectively demanding such a much higher annualized interest rate? Okay, so one answer is that you're waiting longer. It's true that the price should be lower for waiting longer, but this is it may still be related to that. But to get an 8% annualized interest rate, the price would be lower on the 1-year instrument as well. So it has to be. It's certainly partly waiting more. That'll lower the price of the instrument, but there must be more to it than that. What else do you think is going on to affect the prices here? Yeah. So I think that's the same answer as this one in a way. I mean, look what you guys are doing here. We've got this technology. Let me go ahead and write this down. You got this technology, and let's let R be a weekly interest rate, okay, for a moment. So let's let this thing be that. Now, when you go through the calculation that you're doing when you decide to make a bid, you're trying to think about the value. Let's let this V be the amount you're willing to pay. You're trying to think about the value of this thing, and you're going to get back a par value of $100 after some period of time. So let's ask, what shapes this V? Well, what this is going to depend on is this technology I showed you earlier on. So this interest rate is going to be important. If this interest rate is fixed, then what you can do is each week that you have this thing, you can, if you can imagine if the interest rate is I don't know, let's say it's 1% a week, then you can take your money V, you can reinvest it for a week. At that point, you'll get back your original principal plus the interest on that. Then you can, of course, reinvest your principal plus the interest earning on it for that week, and keep going every week, so that this compounding of the interest you're earning on the investment. So the way we express this is we say that the value you're willing to place on this thing at a fixed interest rate is going to be equal to 1 plus R raised to the power T. This T is the maturity. Actually, let me make this big T. That's less confusing. Let's make big T the maturity of the instrument. So if you only had this thing 1 week, it would be B times 1 plus R. If you had it for 52 weeks or a year, you'd have this thing here, and so on. So you'll be thinking about a problem like this when you try to figure out what the value of the bond is to. Yes, Hillary? Well, for sure, there's the opportunity cost for you. I mean, you're buying a bond from me, so you guys are in effect savings, and you could use the money you're going to give me for something else. So the prices up here certainly reflect the opportunity cost you face. If any of you have an investment that yields 8% or 13% or even 6%, I'd like to know about it. So that's very good. Okay. So anyway, the opportunity costs matter. Prevailing interest rates, like what you could get from your bank or a CD or buying a U.S. Treasury bond, make up part of this opportunity cost because you can invest your money that way instead. Okay. So let's go back to the question. Why do you see this variation in returns here? Do you suppose? Yes. Okay, so here's an answer involving risk. That's good. What risks are you thinking of? Okay, so there's a variety of possibilities. Over the course of a week, Eric is unlikely to forget. He'll just talk to the bond in his notes and come back next week and turn it in. Over the course of a year, you might misplace it. Maybe your dog eats it. A variety. What else could go wrong? I might move. I'm easy. I'm easy to track down. If you Google Ethan Ligon, I'm pretty easy to find. And so I'm good for that. I could get killed. I might get hit by a bus. That's not a negligible. That's definitely a possibility. I hope not a very high probability one. But in that case, my estate would be on the hook. This is a perfectly valid legal instrument to present to my estate in the event that I get hit by a bus. Yes. Yeah. Well, I want to make a point. So one thing we could be doing is, this whole. Actually, are there any experienced bond traders in this room? No. Okay. So this whole experience might be kind of novel, and maybe there's some people who are more willing to take this kind of to put themselves forward and sort of take this risk with this unfamiliar instrument. So maybe Eric and Chris were the boldest of the possible investors here, and once they decided to buy a bond, the rest of you were less willing to make this kind of investment. So that could be going on. I just want to point out to all of you who bought bonds, you can buy another one. This is you're still in the market, so it's still part of the demand curve. But still, if there's a limit to how much they want to invest in instruments like this, they could still play a role. Okay. All right. So various kinds of risks are going to be important in determining the different yields you see over different periods of time. And a related thing, which is really important, which I want to come back to, is sort of how the risks play out over time. So if you thought there was a big chance, a large probability of something going haywire in the next week, I'm not sure exactly what it would be. Maybe you die and you lose the bond. You're about to take out, I don't know, you're about to go on an Everest expedition or something. That might lower the value of a short-term bond to you, but maybe not a long-term bond because you're going to come back from an Everest expedition. So a 1-year bond, you might be willing to actually receive less for. So it's not just the risk, but also the timing of the risks that's going to determine the different yields that we expect for different maturities of these instruments. Okay, I want to actually just a couple more of these. We're getting there. So we just sold a 1-year bond to Brian. I don't see any reason to stop really, except that you guys are fleecing me. All right, so here's a bond which is payable in 2016, November 8, 2016. Yes. Yeah. So let me speak to that. I mean, actually, you can see what the formula is there. So I said I defined R here to be the weekly interest rate, and so it's essentially weekly compounding here. The formula you see there is the continuous version of that. So if your interest rate is compounding continuously, then you'll get this expression involving logs. And you can see, if you get that expression, if you take this thing, solve for R, and then take limits as the change in time gets smaller.